but then if you guys hear his story and actually see that it's real, that it actually does work, then it's very different, right? Like when you actually see someone that's been through some stuff and then like if it works for them, then it's more like legit, right? So let me just grab this real quick because this is the one thing that kills me, like the dairy industry. This is why I can't sleep at night, and I cry myself to sleep every time I think about it, and I probably will start getting emotional once I start talking about it. So, okay, for all of you guys that don't know, cows aren't, thank you, Neil. Cows aren't milk machines, right? They produce milk for the same reason my mom produced milk, right? To feed me when I was a baby. And that's the same thing with cows, right? They're not milk machines. So what happens, what happens to the cows is that they first it starts with a bull. They grab a bull and they mount him on this thing, right? Where they take his semen, right? And against his will, they take his semen, and the farmers put it in tubes and they transport it all across the country, all across America, right? To dairy farms. Then once they're in the dairy farms, they place the cows in something that's called a rape rack, where she literally, it's like a box, and she goes in there and she can't move anywhere, can't go forward. She's pretty much stuck, right? And basically, the next step is they will rape her. That's the next thing that they do to her. They put on a glove, right? The farmers, and you can look it up on YouTube, very scary. They put on this glove and they insert the semen from the bull to the cow. So they impregnate her against her will, right? Once they do that, the cow obviously gets pregnant. She carries her baby for X amount of months. I don't know how long they carry babies for. I'm not sure. Maybe it's 9 months. And as soon as she gives birth to her calf, her baby, and she's cleaning her baby, licking off all the fluids and stuff, then the farmer comes in a wheelbarrow, picks up the baby, actually grabs the baby and just shove it in there, right? A newborn baby, like this. And then they leave the cow crying, chasing. A lot of times there's been videos recorded, the cow is chasing after her baby. Wouldn't you? If that was your baby, wouldn't you like, what's going on? Like, why are you taking my baby, right? So then you have the cow chasing her baby and she's crying for days and months. And a lot of retired farmers, they break down talking about it, that they were aware that the cows were crying and mourning their babies because they didn't get to see them, right? So what happens next is the calves are placed in this solitary confinement, right? It's just like these little houses by themselves because they can't drink their own mom's milk because it's being sold to us, you know. And that just blows my mind because, you know, like just like we wouldn't drink monkey's milk, we wouldn't drink cat's milk or pig's milk. Why do we drink cow's milk? It's from a different species. It doesn't make sense. You know, it's been like that for generations and generations. So we have to break that cycle. You know, we can't be drinking another species milk and think that it's designed for us. You know, and another thing too is like a lot of people always complain about their weight, how they're like overweight and stuff. Oh, I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. But they don't realize they're drinking milk that is intended for a calf that is meant to grow hundreds of pounds. You know, so what happens when we drink that? It's not for us, you know. And if you guys have any doubts, just look at yourself in the mirror. Do you say moo when you look at yourself in the mirror? No, right? So you're not a cow. It's not intended for you. You know, it's intended for a baby calf. And so what happens next is after the babies are born, they're put in solitary confinement, right? Like in that place. And they have to drink this artificial milk because they put these things on them, on their noses, that blocks them from getting their mom's milk, right? It blocks it, and it's so cruel. And then if they're born males, then they sell them for cheap meat, like which is veal, right? And if they are born females, because actually they kill them like right there, like within 6 months of them being born, because they're no use to the dairy industry. So, but if they're born females, then they have the same fate as their mothers. So imagine. So then after that, so this is the boys, right? Like the male calves, and then the moms, what they do to them, they have this huge machine where they plug them in, right? They plug this. Imagine if somebody plugs something to your boobs and they constantly pinch and your nipple. I'm sorry I'm being graphic, but it's just exactly what happens to them. You know, like and it's constantly pinching and pinching and pinching wouldn't it hurt? Wouldn't it cut after a while? And then and that's why they find in milk, and this is true. You can look it up. There's pus and blood in milk, but it's because of this. Because they plug it into the cows, and they do it year after year after year after year. Not like every day. They milk them, and guess what happens? After a while, they don't produce milk anymore. Because like my mom at 50 years old, I'm sorry, Mommy, I'm telling your age, but she's like, she doesn't produce milk anymore, like she can't have babies anymore. But if imagine them doing that. So once they dry them out, then they pick them up because the cows are so weak, that is taking such a toll on their body. They bring this machine where they pick them up and they send them to the slaughterhouse, and then they cut their throats open, and then they just sell their meat, and that's the meat that we consume. So it's like such a bad karma because that poor cow had such a bad life, and it was just awful, So this is the machine where they pick them, I don't know what it's called, like a fork, I don't know. So they pick them up because they can't even pick themselves up, So I ignored all of this, guys. I was never into eating healthy, none of that, because I play soccer and I've always been in good shape. I consider myself to be in good shape, right? I've always played my whole life. I even played for the school. That's how I met Maurice. He was in the boys soccer team. So I ignore all of this, but I know that a lot of you guys, now that you guys know this, I hope that when you see that cow's milk, you remember, I'm not a calf. I don't need that milk. You can drink almond milk, you can drink oat milk, you can drink so many different types of milks that have actually more protein, more calcium than this milk, And almond milk has 60% more calcium than cow's milk. So it kind of defeats the purpose of drinking milk for calcium, If almond milk has more, and there's no pus, there's no blood in it, and you're not stealing the milk from a baby, and you don't want them to go through that. So I just wanted to share this with you guys because I'm really I was just stunned when I learned about this, and I couldn't believe the cruelty behind it. And I just wanted you guys to be aware and hopefully make better decisions when you see it. When people say, oh, regular milk, I'm like, oh, you mean cow's milk? I literally say it like that because it's not regular milk. This regular milk is your mom's milk, I guess, if you want to be technical. And another thing, we as humans, we're the only species that drink milk as adults. If you think about it, we only really need our mom's milk for the nutrients and stuff because we don't have teeth, right? But once we grow them, and we don't need milk anymore for those nutrients, right? So, and it's like that in every species. If you pay close attention, but it's just been sold to us, because there's so much money behind all of these industries, and just like this, there's many more, and I'm going to share really quickly before I let Maurice speak to you guys. But I just want to just throw in a little facts right there. So for instance, the circuses, right? Circuses aren't really, we go to circuses because we love animals, we love all the entertainment, right? But in reality, that's so bad for the animals because it's like a prison. All they do is they just sit there in cages and they hit them to do all these shows and do all these stunts for people, but in reality, the animals aren't benefiting from that. It's the people that are taking our money, right? And just like that, SeaWorld, same thing. I don't know, picture a whale in a pool, right? When they have the whole ocean to themselves, to swim and go as far as they want and go whatever they want, and they're just in there. That's why they're so stressed out. And if you see videos of SeaWorld, you see dolphins jumping out because they're stressed out and they hit them to train them. Same thing if people that go to Thailand, if you see all these people going to not sanctuaries, but penning the